How did one funny joke about my husband's paycheck turn into divorce papers landing on my desk before lunch? Why did my boss go quiet when the server said my full name out loud in the lobby? I thought I was the one with power until the legal result hit in public. My name is Tryphena Wray. I was 34 and I worked in HR operations at a tech company. People thought my job was just emails and smiles, but it was power. I knew who got hired, who got moved, and who got called not a good fit. I liked that. I liked being needed. I liked being the one with answers. At home, I told myself I was the one holding everything together. I said Evan was kind but slow. I said he had a good heart, but small goals. He worked at a warehouse and drove a forklift. He woke up early, came home tired, and still did the dishes. That should sound good. But in my mind, it sounded like a trap. That morning in our townhouse kitchen, he stood by the counter with a plain mug. I had my travel cup, 2 mugs, 2 corners. I noticed it and I acted like I did not. He asked if I could sit for 5 minutes. I said I was late and I had meetings. He said he was worried about money, not in a dramatic way, just calm. I said he was making a problem out of nothing. He asked if we could look at the budget this weekend. I said I already looked at it, and he should focus on earning more instead of counting my spending. He did not raise his voice. That made me feel like he was judging me. I said he always did that quiet thing to make me feel guilty. He looked confused, like he did not understand how he became the bad guy in 1 minute. Mara came in with her backpack half open, cereal on her shirt, and sleep still on her face. She asked if I could do pickup today. I said yes too fast. Evan asked if I was sure. I said he was trying to control my schedule. He said he only asked because last week I forgot. I said last week was different. I use that word a lot. Different. Like life was always changing and I should not be held to any promise. When I walked past Evan's desk, I saw a neat stack of folders. One said household, one said utilities, one said bank. I felt annoyed, like he was acting like a manager in my life. He had a sticky note on the edge of the desk that said, "Bring forms." I did not ask what forms. I told myself it was probably boring. My phone buzzed. It was Nina from payroll. She asked if I was coming in early for coffee. I said yes, and my voice got lighter right away. Evan heard it. He asked who it was. I said it was work, and he did not need details. He nodded, but his eyes stayed on my face like he was trying to read a sign. In the car, I told myself Evan was lucky. I told myself I married him when he had nothing, and I helped him. I told myself respect followed results, and I had results. This thought always made me feel calm again. At the office, the air smelled like printer toner and warm coffee. It felt clean. It felt like a place where my words mattered. Nina met me near the break area. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, but my husband was in a mood again. She asked what he did now. I said he was stressed about money, like it was my fault he chose that job. She rolled her eyes. I liked that she rolled her eyes. It made me feel right. We walked past the open plan desks. People smiled at me. I smiled back. I knew who wanted a promotion and who was scared of layoffs. I heard small things, and I saved them for later. That is not how I described it. I called it being responsible. Around late morning, Damien Rourke came by my desk. He was 41, always polished, always calm. He asked if I had a minute. I said yes. He said he liked how I handled a recent complaint case. I said I was just doing my job. He said my job was hard and most people could not do it well. I felt warm in my chest. It was not romantic in my head. I told myself it was recognition. I told myself Evan never spoke to me like that anymore. Damien asked if I could join him for a short check-in later. I said yes. Nina watched, and she smirked. Later, she asked if Damien had a crush. I said no and laughed, but I also enjoyed the idea. Nina asked if Evan ever got jealous. I said, Evan got jealous of everything because he felt small. I said it like it was a fact, like it was medical. During lunch, I scrolled through my phone. I saw a message thread with Damien from last week. It was not openly wrong. It was work talk, but it had too many little compliments. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I deserved attention because I worked harder than everyone. Evan sent a message asking if I remembered pickup. I waited 5 minutes before answering. That wait felt like control. I replied that I had it handled. He asked what time I would be home. I said late because of work. That was not fully true yet, but I liked keeping options open. In the afternoon, I sat in Damien's glass-walled office. He asked about my goals. I said I wanted a better title, better pay, and a bigger impact. He asked what held me back. I said my home life was heavy. I said I carried most things. I said my husband was good but unmotivated. Damien asked if Evan supported my career. I said not really. That was unfair, but it sounded clean and simple. Damien said he respected ambitious people. I said I was ambitious because I had to be. He asked what I meant. I said I could not depend on a warehouse paycheck. I said I needed stability. I watched his face as I said it. I wanted him to agree. He did. When I got up to leave, I heard a soft beep from my phone. I realized a recording app had been open for a second, like it had been used recently. I closed it fast. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself I was careful. After work, I drove to the school. Mara came out with her teacher, holding a paper craft. She looked relieved when she saw me. That relief made me feel guilty for 1 second. Then I got angry at my own guilt. I told myself Evan should be the one feeling guilty for not earning more. At home, Evan was already there. The car was pointed toward the street like he had moved it earlier. He asked how my day went. I said fine. He asked if Damien was the reason I was home late. I said he was being paranoid. He asked why Nina posted a photo of coffee with the work wife and tagged me. I said it was just a joke and he should relax. He asked why I talked about him like he was a problem. I said he was imagining things. He asked if I respected him. I said respect was built, and he did not like hearing that. He said he wanted to be a team again. I said he wanted a team because he needed me. Mara sat on the couch and watched us with wide eyes. Evan noticed. He lowered his voice. He asked if we could talk later, when she was asleep. I said maybe. I said I was tired. I said he was draining me. He did not shout. He just nodded once. He walked past his desk and opened the drawer. I heard a small click again. He closed it and washed his hands at the sink like he was resetting his body. I watched him and felt a strange fear, like he was stepping away from me in his mind. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to chase him. I told myself I would not. The next day, I dressed like I had a reason. I chose a sharp blazer and shoes that clicked on the floor. I told myself it was for confidence. I told myself a serious woman should look serious. Evan saw me by the mirror and asked why I was dressed up on a normal day. I said HR always had to look polished. He asked if there was an event. I said no, and I smiled like he was silly for asking. He offered to make Mara's lunch. I said he could, because I had real work. He did not argue. That calm made me feel like I was losing the center of the house. I wanted him to chase me, to ask again, to push. Instead, he packed the lunch, zipped Mara's bag, and reminded her to bring her library book. I watched him and felt annoyed that he looked competent. In the car, Nina sent me a voice message. She said Damien wanted to take a few of us out after work. She said it was a casual thank you. She asked if I could come because it would look good. I said yes right away. I told myself it was networking. I told myself Evan would never understand that world. I said I deserved people who did. At the office, Damien walked by my desk twice. He did not need to. He could have messaged. But he walked by anyway, like he wanted my attention in a clean, public way. He asked if I was free after 5. I said I could be. He asked if Evan would mind. I said Evan minded everything. I said it with a laugh, like it was a cute flaw. In the afternoon, my phone buzzed again. It was Evan asking if I could confirm pickup time. I saw the message and did not answer. I told myself he should handle it. I told myself I was already doing too much. 30 minutes later, he sent another message, shorter. He asked if he should plan to do it. I replied that I would do it because I wanted to keep control of the schedule. Then I left it there. At 5, I went down to the parking garage. Nina was waiting near her car, and Jake from finance was there too. Damien arrived last, like he wanted to look busy and important. He said we should take 2 cars. He asked if I could ride with him to talk about a project. Nina raised her eyebrows like she was watching a show. I said yes, like it was normal. Inside Damien's car, it smelled like clean soap and new leather. He asked how my day went. I said it was heavy because people always brought their drama to HR. He asked if home was stressful too. I said yes, and I made my voice soft. I said I was a strong person, but I got tired. He said I deserved support. I said I never got real support. I did not say Evan did the dishes. I did not say Evan read Tamara. Those things did not help my story. Damien asked what Evan did again, like he forgot. I said he worked in a warehouse. Damien asked if Evan liked it. I said Evan liked being comfortable. I said he did not like pushing himself. Damien asked if Evan ever talked about school or a new path. I said Evan talked and talked but did nothing. I made it sound like I had waited years and years. In truth, Evan had brought up training programs twice. I had laughed both times. We got to the steakhouse near the office. It had dim lights and shiny wood tables. It was not fancy, but it felt like money. Nina took photos of the menu. Jake looked stiff, like he wished he was somewhere else. Damien asked the server for a quiet corner. He chose the seat that faced the room. I noticed he liked to see everything. The conversation started with work. Damien asked about a hiring issue. I answered fast. I like speaking with certainty in front of people. Nina laughed at my jokes. Damien smiled like I was clever. I felt a rush, like I was finally seen. Then the talk moved to life. Nina asked if I and Evan were doing okay. I said marriage was hard when one person grew and the other stayed the same. Damien asked what I meant. I said I was the main earner. I said I paid most bills. I said I had a career while Evan had a job. I said it like that word was small. Nina giggled. Damien did not stop me. Jake asked if I really paid most bills. I said yes. I said Evan's income was cute. I said I did not even know what he made some months because it changed with overtime. I laughed. Nina laughed too loud. Damien asked if Evan felt insecure. I said Evan was always insecure. I said that was why he watched me, why he asked questions, why he acted like my calendar belonged to him. I felt powerful when I said it. I felt like I had a stage. I forgot for a moment that Evan was a real person, not a character I could write. I forgot that words do not vanish after you say them. My phone buzzed under the table. I turned it over and saw Evan's name again. I ignored it. Nina noticed and asked if he was checking on me. I said yes, like I was suffering. Damien's eyes flicked to my phone. He said he did not want my night ruined. He said I should enjoy myself. I said I always enjoyed myself when I was away from pressure. Jake looked down at his drink. He asked if we should talk about something else. I said no, it was fine. I said people pretended money did not matter, but it did. I said it mattered because it showed effort. I said if a man loved his wife, he would try harder. Nina nodded. Damien nodded too, like that was wisdom. After dinner, Nina insisted on a group photo outside the restaurant. She held her phone high and made us smile. Damien stood close enough that his shoulder touched mine. I told myself it was an accident. I told myself it was normal. Nina posted the photo quickly. She tagged me before I could think. In the car back to the office parking lot, Damien asked if I felt better after venting. I said yes. He asked if Evan ever listened to my needs. I said Evan listened, but he did not change. Damien said change was hard for some people. He said some people only learned when consequences came. I liked hearing that. It sounded like permission. When I got home, the house lights were low. Evan was in the living room, not on the couch, but sitting upright like he was waiting. Mara was already asleep. Evan asked if my dinner was good. I said it was a work thing and not a big deal. He asked why Nina posted it publicly. I said she always posted everything. He asked why Damien drove me. I said Damien was my boss and it was normal. Evan asked if I talked about him there. I said no. He asked again, slower. I said I maybe mentioned money in a general way. He asked what I said. I said I joked that I carried more bills, and he should not take it personally. He said it sounded personal. I said he was being dramatic. I said he was trying to start a fight. He told me he got a strange message from Jake earlier. He said Jake asked if Evan was okay. I asked why Jake would ask that. Evan said maybe because people were laughing. I felt heat rise in my face. I said Jake should mind his business. I said Jake was a gossip. Evan said Jake sounded uncomfortable, not excited. I said that was not my problem. Evan asked if I respected him. I said respect was earned. He asked if love was earned too. I said love was not a free pass. He asked if I still wanted this marriage. I said I wanted peace. I said Evan was the one making it hard. He stared at the floor for a long time. Then he stood up, walked past me, and went to his desk. He opened a drawer. I heard the same small click. He did not hide it. He did not rush. He took out nothing that I could see. He closed it again. He washed his hands like he always did after touching paper, like he was resetting again. I followed him and asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I asked why. He said because he needed to. I asked if he was planning to leave. He said he was planning to think. I laughed once, sharp. I said he was acting like a victim. He did not answer. I went to bed angry, but also shaky. I told myself I was right. I told myself a man should not be fragile. I told myself he needed to learn his place. In the dark, I heard his phone buzz on the desk, and then stop. A soft beep followed, like an app had opened and closed. Evan did not come to bed for a long time. The weekend came, and I acted like nothing happened. I cleaned the kitchen fast and made it look nice, like a photo. I told myself a clean house meant a clean life. Evan moved around quietly. He did laundry and folded Mara's shirts in neat stacks. I watched him and felt annoyed again, like he was trying to look like the good one. Evan asked if we could talk after breakfast. I said we could talk, but he needed to stay calm. He said he was calm already. I said he had a calm face, but he made me feel pressured. He asked why I laughed at his income in front of people. I said it was a joke, and everyone joked. He asked if I would joke like that about myself. I said it was different because I could handle it. He asked if I thought he could not handle it because he was weak. I said he was twisting my words. Mara walked in and asked if we could go to the park later. I said yes, and I smiled wide. Evan looked at Mara and then looked at me. He asked if we could keep adult talk away from her. I said he was the one who started it. Evan did not answer. He just nodded once, like he was putting a lid on a pot. That afternoon, Danny invited me to her apartment. She said she had drinks and therapy vibes. I told Evan I needed time with my sister because home felt heavy. He asked if I could take Mara with me. I said no, because I needed a break. He said he could handle Mara. I said of course he could, because he had an easy job and easy life. The moment I said it, I felt proud, like I landed a clean point. At Danny's place, she played music and opened her phone to show me comments on her latest post. She asked why I looked tense. I said Evan was acting hurt over a small joke. Danny asked if he was trying to guilt me. I said yes. I said he used silence like a weapon. Danny said men did that when they knew they had no value. I liked hearing that. It made my behavior feel smart instead of mean. Danny asked if I still felt alive in my marriage. I said no, not really. I said I felt like a manager at home, not a wife. She asked if I had someone who made me feel seen. I paused. Then I said, maybe. I said my boss respected me. Danny smiled like she understood everything. She asked if it was wrong. I said nothing happened. I said attention was not cheating. Danny said women needed support too. I nodded hard, like I was agreeing with a rule. She took a photo of me on her couch and posted it with a caption about choosing joy. She asked if she could tag me. I said yes. I told myself it was just social media. But I also liked the idea that people would see me relaxed and bright, not stuck with Evan's boring life. Later that night, Nina texted that a few people were going to a rooftop bar. She said Damien would be there for an hour. She said it would be good for me to show up. I told Danny I might go. Danny said I should go. She said I needed to be around winners. I said I was already a winner, and she laughed like it was a joke and a truth at the same time. When I got home to change, Evan was in the living room with Mara. They were building something with blocks. Mara looked happy. Evan looked steady. That steadiness made me feel like my drama had no place to land. Evan asked where I was going. I said I was meeting work people. He asked why it had to be at night again. I said because adults had adult lives. He asked if Damien would be there. I said yes because he was my boss. Evan asked if I could skip it. I said he wanted me small so he could feel big. Evan said he did not want me small, he wanted me safe. I said safe meant bored. Evan asked if we could set a time to talk tomorrow. I said we already talked, and he did not listen. He asked what he did not listen to. I said he did not listen to my needs. He said he listened, but he did not understand what I wanted anymore. I said I wanted a partner who did not embarrass me. Evan asked how he embarrassed me. I said by being behind. He looked like he took a hit, but he still did not raise his voice. On the stairwell landing, I noticed his phone was face down on the small table, like he did not want notifications showing. There was also a new key on his keyring, silver and plain. I asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. I asked what storage. He said just storage. I laughed and said he was being dramatic. He did not answer. At the rooftop bar, the city lights made everyone look richer than they were. Nina waved at me from a tall table. Damien stood beside her, holding a glass and smiling. When I arrived, he said I looked great. I said it was just a blazer. He said it suited me. Nina leaned in and said I needed to enjoy life more. I said I was trying. Jake was there too, but he stayed on the edge, like he wanted to leave. Nina asked if Evan was still mad about money. I said Evan was always mad about something. I said he acted like I was the problem when he was the one who stayed basic. Damien asked if Evan ever tried to move up. I said he was comfortable with low goals. I said some people liked being average. Nina laughed and said average was a choice. People around us heard and smiled. A woman I barely knew asked what Evan did. I said he drove a forklift. She said that sounded hard. I said it was hard, but not impressive. I said hard work was not the same as smart work. Damien nodded like he agreed, and that nod felt like a reward. Someone lifted a phone and started recording a toast. Nina asked me to say something. I said I was grateful for a workplace where people supported growth. I said some people at home did not support growth. I did not name Evan, but I did not need to. Nina made a face like she understood, and the group made sympathetic sounds. I felt powerful again. I felt like I had a crowd on my side. My phone buzzed. Evan asked if I could come home soon because Mara woke up and wanted me. I stared at the message and felt annoyed. I told myself he was using Mara to pull me back. I replied that I would be home later and he should handle it. Evan answered that he was handling it, but Mara missed me. I did not reply after that. When I got home, the house was quiet. Evan was at his desk, not in bed. The laptop screen showed a spreadsheet with columns and numbers, but no title. He closed it when I walked in. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked if I talked about him again. I said he was obsessed. He said he was not obsessed. He was trying to understand why I was being cruel. I said I was not cruel. I was honest. He asked if I would stop making him a joke to other people. I said if he did not like the joke, he should change the punchline. He looked at me for a long time. Then he said he would not fight with me tonight. I said he never fought because he was passive. He said maybe he was just careful now. As I walked to the bedroom, I heard a soft beep from his phone, like an app opened and closed. I turned back and asked what that was. He said it was nothing. He said he was just setting reminders. On the desk, I saw a small note near his keyboard that said, "Meeting, personal." I felt a chill. Then I got angry at my own fear. I went to bed telling myself I was still in control. But in the dark, I could not stop thinking about his calm voice when he said he was being careful now. Monday felt like a stage, and I walked onto it ready to win. At school pickup, I held my phone in my hand like a shield. Other parents stood in a loose line, small talk and tired faces. I smiled at the right people. I wanted them to see me as steady. I did not want anyone to see my home life as messy. Mara came out with her backpack bouncing. She looked around fast, like she was checking the air for danger. She asked if Evan was coming too. I said he was busy. That was not true. Evan was parked a few cars back waiting. He did not get out. He just watched. I pretended not to notice. In the car, Mara asked why we were not eating at home tonight. I said we had a family dinner. She asked if everyone would be nice. I said of course. My voice was too quick. She looked out the window and said nothing. That silence made me feel judged, even from my own child. I told myself she was being dramatic, like Evan. At the supermarket, I pushed the cart fast. I grabbed things we needed, but I also grabbed things that looked like a good life. Fancy juice, fresh berries, a dessert tray. I told myself it was for Mara. Evan met us by the bread aisle. He asked if we could talk before dinner. I said we could talk later. He asked if I would please not bring up money in front of his parents. I said I would not bring it up if they did not attack me first. He said they were not attacking me. I said he always took their side. He asked if I noticed Mara was tense. I said Mara was fine, and he was putting ideas in her head. He said he did not want Mara to feel like she had to choose. I said Mara did not have to choose, unless he kept acting like a victim. Evan looked at the floor like he was counting to 10. He asked if we could agree to keep voices low. I said I was not the one with a tone problem. At the checkout, the cashier asked if we wanted to split the bill. Evan said yes, and he tapped his card for the basics. I watched the screen and felt heat rise again. It was not that he paid. It was that he did it quietly, without asking me. It made me feel like he was building a life without my approval. I told myself he was trying to look good in public. I told myself it was a trick. Outside, he put the bags in the trunk with careful hands. He had a new key on his ring again. I saw it flash in the light. I asked what it was for. He said it was for a small unit, just for storage. I asked what he needed storage for. He said he was organizing. I said he was being dramatic. He said he was being prepared. I asked prepared for what? He said, for reality. That word annoyed me, reality, like I had been living in a lie, and he was the only adult in the room. We drove to his parents' family restaurant. It was not fancy, but it was busy and loud, with a long table set for us in the back. The smell of grilled meat and warm bread filled the space. Ruth and Grant were already there. Marisol sat near the end with a calm face. Danny came in last, with her bright coat and her phone in her hand, like it was part of her body. Ruth hugged Mara first. She asked how school was. Mara said it was okay. Ruth asked if Mara wanted to help bring out bread. Mara nodded fast. I watched that and felt a sting. Ruth did not hug me right away. When she did, it was light, like she did not trust her own hands. Everyone sat. The table felt too long, like a courtroom without a judge. Evan sat beside Mara. I sat across from Ruth, where I could see her face. Danny sat near me, like backup. Grant asked about my job. I said things were going well and I was being recognized. Marisol asked how Evan's work was. Evan said it was steady. I jumped in and said steady was fine, but I liked growth. I smiled like it was a friendly comment. Ruth looked at me and asked, calm and clear, if it was true that I joked about Evan's income in front of coworkers. I acted surprised. I said people joked all the time. I said Evan misunderstood it and made it bigger. Evan said he did not misunderstand. He said he heard about it from someone at my office. I said, loud enough for the table to hear, that he was collecting witnesses like a victim. I laughed once, like it was clever. Danny laughed too and said people were so sensitive now. She said everyone got offended over nothing. Ruth asked Danny if she thought humiliation was nothing. Danny said it was not humiliation, it was honesty. I felt relief that Danny backed me. Grant asked me to slow down and think about how it sounded. I said it sounded like the truth, and the truth hurt sometimes. Evan asked why I needed to say that truth in public. I said because he acted proud while I paid for most things. Evan said he paid what he could and he did not waste money. I said he did not waste money because he did not have money to waste. I said it like I was winning. The table went quiet. I saw Mara's shoulders lift. She stared at her plate. Evan put his hand near her cup, not touching her, just close, like he was making a wall she could lean on. Ruth asked me, still calm, if I would say those words in front of Mara again. I said Mara did not understand adult topics. Ruth said children understood tone. I said Ruth was trying to shame me. Evan asked me to stop. I said he was controlling me in front of his parents. Evan said he was asking for basic respect. I said respect was earned. He said he had been earning it for years. I said he earned comfort, not respect. Danny said I was right and that men needed to compete in the real world. Marisol's face tightened. She told Danny that marriage was not a game show. Ruth asked Evan if he was okay. Evan said he was fine, but he wanted the fighting to end. He said he wanted a stable routine for Mara. I laughed and asked why he suddenly cared about routine when he never cared about my needs. Evan said he always cared, but now he was being careful with his words. I asked why. He said because words mattered. Grant told Evan to stay calm. Evan nodded. I hated that nod. It made them look like a team, and me like an outsider. I leaned forward and said, in a softer voice, that Evan was punishing me with silence at home. I said he made me feel alone. I said he watched me like I was a criminal. Ruth asked what I meant by criminal. I said I meant he acted paranoid. Evan said he did not want to argue here. I said he did not want to argue because he knew he would lose. Evan said he would not lose his dignity in front of Mara. He said it once, simple. That sentence landed harder than a shout. Mara finally spoke. She asked if we could go home. She asked if everyone was mad at her. I said no, and I forced my smile. Evan told her no one was mad at her. He said adults were having a hard talk. Mara asked if it was because of money. I froze. Evan looked at me, and his eyes were not angry. They were tired. On the way out, Ruth asked me to stay a minute. I said I had nothing to say to her. Ruth said she was worried about Mara. I said she should worry about her son's ambition. Ruth said ambition was not the same as kindness. I said kindness did not pay bills. Ruth said cruelty cost more. Outside, Evan opened the car door for Mara and buckled her in. He did it with calm hands. His phone buzzed once, then stopped. I saw a small notification banner flash and disappear, too fast to read. Evan did not check it. He just started the car and drove in silence. In the dark ride home, I told myself they were all against me because they could not handle a strong woman. But Mara kept her face turned toward the window, and I could not stop thinking about her question. I could not stop hearing her small voice saying money like it was a bad word. Tuesday morning, I woke up with a tight jaw and a busy mind. I told myself the dinner was not my fault. I told myself Ruth pushed me first with her concern. I told myself Evan let his family gang up on me. It was easy to say that in my head. It was harder when I saw Mara at the table eating quietly, not asking for anything. Evan made her eggs and cut fruit into small pieces. I watched him do it and felt like he was doing a performance. He asked Mara about her spelling test. She answered with small words. Then she looked at me and asked if I was coming to her class thing on Friday. I said yes. Evan looked up, like he was checking if I would really do it. That look annoyed me. Evan asked if we could talk for 10 minutes after drop-off. I said I had no time. He said it was important. I said my job was important too. He asked if I could at least promise not to talk about money in front of Mara again. I said I never talked about money in front of Mara on purpose. He said she still heard it. I said he was teaching her to blame me. In the hallway, I noticed his work bag was not where it usually was. His keys were on the hook, but there was a new tag on the ring, a small plastic one with a number. I asked what it was. He said it was just for storage and it was nothing. I said he was making a big mystery like a teenager. He said he was organizing his life. I laughed and asked if I was supposed to be scared. He did not answer. At the office, the mood felt different. People still smiled, but their eyes stayed a second longer. Nina met me by the copier and asked if everything was okay at home. I said Evan was being dramatic and his mother was getting involved. Nina said mothers did that when they were scared their sons would lose their safe place. I liked that phrase. It made me feel like the prize again. Damien messaged me to come to his office at 10. Not a chat, a meeting. The word looked stiff. I went in and sat down. He asked how my weekend was. I said it was stressful because my husband could not handle jokes. Damien nodded, but his eyes were on his screen. He asked if things at home could spill into work. I asked what he meant. He said he meant reputation, conflict, risk. He said HR had to be careful. I felt a sting. I asked if Nina's post caused a problem. Damien said it created questions. He asked if I had been drinking that night. I said I had one drink. He asked if I had mocked Evan in a way that could be seen as bullying. I said it was private and friendly. Damien said nothing online stayed private. He asked if my husband could contact the company. I said Evan would never do that, because he was too proud and too passive. Damien said he hoped I was right. When I left his office, I felt like I lost something. Not love, not romance. I lost control. I wanted to fix it fast. I went to Nina's desk and told her to delete the story if it was still up. Nina said it was already gone, but people saw it. She asked if Evan was threatening anything. I said Evan was just sulking. Nina said sulking men were dangerous. I asked what she meant. She said they could flip the story. That sentence stayed in my head all day. Around noon, Jake sent a calendar invite. It was titled Quick Word. No details. I walked into a small meeting room and sat across from him. He looked uncomfortable. He said finance had concerns about workplace conduct and personal situations affecting the office. I said I did nothing wrong. Jake said he was not judging, but he had heard the dinner jokes more than once. He said people were repeating them and it made the team look cruel. I told him Evan was insecure, and he made everything bigger. Jake said he did not know Evan, but he knew what he heard. He asked if I wanted to add a note for context in case it became an HR issue. I almost laughed at him. I said I was HR. Jake said that was exactly why it mattered. He asked if I could keep personal talk out of company spaces. I said of course, and my voice sounded sweet. Inside, I felt hot. When I got back to my desk, I checked my phone. Evan had sent 2 messages about Mara's Friday event and pickup times. I answered with short words. I did not say sorry. I told myself apologies were for guilty people. At 5, I drove home and found Evan in the kitchen. The counters were clean. The dishwasher hummed. Mara was in her room drawing. Evan asked if we could talk now. I said fine, but I was tired. He asked if I understood what happened at his parents' place. I said yes. His mother tried to shame me and he let her. He said he did not let anyone shame me. He said I shamed him, and I did it in front of Mara. I said he was acting like I committed a crime. He said he was not calling me a criminal. He said he was calling my behavior harmful. I said harmful was a strong word, and he was using therapy language to win. He said he was using real words because the situation was real. I tried to turn it. I said he made me lonely. I said he did not pursue me. I said he hid behind being good. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted a husband who could provide, so I did not have to carry everything. He said he provided in many ways, and he worked hard. I said hard work did not matter if the results were small. He asked if I was seeing someone. My stomach tightened, but my face stayed calm. I asked why he would say that. He said because I stayed out late, I protected my phone, and I talked about him like he was an obstacle. I said he was paranoid. He asked if I could answer directly. I said I did not have to answer accusations. He looked down at his hands. Then he asked if I could agree to marriage counseling. I said counseling was for couples who both wanted to change. I said he wanted counseling so he could make me feel guilty. He said he wanted counseling so Mara could stop hearing tension in the walls. I said Mara was fine. Mara appeared in the doorway, holding her drawing. She asked if we were mad again. Evan softened his voice and told her no. He said adults were talking. I told her we were fine and she should go finish her drawing. She left, but slower than usual, like she did not believe me. Evan turned back to me and said he was done arguing in circles. He said he wanted clear rules at home. He said we needed respectful language, shared schedules, and no public humiliation. I laughed and asked if he was making a list now. He said yes, because chaos was hurting Mara. I told him he was acting like a manager again. He said maybe he had to. He asked if I could stop mocking him to other people. I said people already knew the truth. He said the truth was not an excuse to be cruel. I felt my grip slip, so I tried another angle. I said if he kept pushing me, I might leave. Evan said if I left, I needed to think about Mara first. I said he was threatening me with Mara. He said he was not threatening. He said he was protecting. I walked closer and asked what he was doing with storage keys and secret reminders. He looked at me, steady and tired. He said he was preparing his life to be stable. I asked if he was preparing to kick me out. He said he was preparing to handle things the right way. I told him he was overreacting and acting dramatic for sympathy. Evan's voice stayed level. He said he would not yell, he would not beg, and he would not play games. He said he would handle it properly. The next morning, I walked into the downtown building like I owned my life again. I told myself I would fix everything with a calm face and a few smart words. I even practiced them in the car. I said I would keep it simple. I said Evan was emotional and I was practical. I said I was the one who paid most things, so I had leverage. The lobby smelled like coffee and polished stone. People in suits moved past me without looking. I checked my phone and saw a message from Nina asking if I was okay. I did not answer. I wanted to look fine. I wanted to look untouchable. Then I saw Evan near the far wall, standing straight, hands relaxed at his sides. He was not blocking me. He was not pacing. He looked like he had slept. Ruth was there too. Not close to him, but present. That alone made my stomach drop. Evan did not wave. He did not glare. He just watched me like I was a fact. I walked up and asked what this was. He said he was here to do things properly. I told him we could talk at home. He said home was not working anymore. I said he was making a scene. He said he was not. He was following a process. A man in a plain jacket stepped toward me and asked if I was Tryphena Wray. I said yes, because saying no would be stupid. He handed me an envelope and asked me to confirm my name again. I confirmed it, and my voice sounded small in the open space. I looked down and saw the word petition on the first page. My hands went cold. I flipped one page too fast and saw a list. It was not romantic, it was not dramatic, it was rules. It said there were temporary orders starting today. It said there were limits on spending from shared accounts. It said the townhouse had a schedule for who stayed when. It said pick-up and drop-off for Mara were set in writing, simple and clear. It said we would communicate in a structured way about the child, not through arguments. I looked up at Evan and asked how he could do this so fast. He said he filed the same day I mocked him in front of my boss. He said he saved what he needed, and he chose peace over noise. People walked by and stared for a second. I felt my face burn. I tried to laugh, but no sound came. Evan nodded once, like the conversation was already finished, and I realized my control was gone in one legal moment.